Hello. So, NASCAR time. So I'm gonna wait for maybe a few people to join. So let me do something. I have to message someone real quick. All right, let's try and get my first viewer in. Let me switch to that. All right, there. I'll wait for someone to type in live chat or join. So today's topic will be NASCAR, the complete history book. But this book it only goes up to 2017. So it's not current. I got this book probably like 6 years ago. So yeah, my viewer. Hi, Mom. So where should I start? Should I start in the NASCAR history book? Oh, it's broken. Oh, it's broken a little bit. It's broken. It's broken. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Okay, moving on. Moving on. It's broken. So moving on. So I'm first going to talk about. I'm going to just open to a random year. This way. So 2010. So let me talk about that year for a little bit. So in 2010, the driver who won the 500 that year was in fact none other than Jamie McMurray. And he won it. So I'm going to read the thing from the book. Jamie McMurray in the number 1 Chevrolet crosses the finish line just ahead of the 88 Chevrolet of Dale Earnhardt Jr. at the end of the Daytona 500 on February 14th. It was McMurray's first Daytona 500 victory. And his second Sprint Cup win at Daytona. There were 52 lead changes with 21 different drivers leading laps. The race was red flagged to repair a hole in the track that opened up in the second turn. Where am I? Greg Biffle was leading the race when the caution flag came out, just before he took the white flag. With NASCAR new use of multiple green-white checkered attempts to finish the race under green, another restart was in order. On the first green-white checkered attempt, Kevin Harvick had taken the lead from Biffle when another caution came out before he could take the white flag. On the second green-white checkered attempt, with McMurray powered by Harvick and led the final 2 laps. So my mom said, "Who's your favorite driver?" So that's gonna be Joey Logano. And my dad said, "What's your favorite live race that I've been to?" That's a tough question. I'd probably have to say 2025 Daytona when I saw the Ryan Preece flip. Also the Airborne Park, that race. That was pretty cool. I really liked that one. So there was also a flip in 2010 where Brad Keselowski took a flight for Carl Edwards. So yeah. What did I just do? I do something. Yep. So yes, Grammy, you are in the live chat. So yeah. So another topic. So there's a timeline here. February 6th. Mom said, "Which one?" What do you mean by which one? I'm curious. Like favorite live race? If I had to pick a favorite, I'd choose the 2025 500. I really like that one. So, on February 6th, Mark Martin becomes the oldest pole sitter for the Daytona 500. Dale Earnhardt Jr. starts second for a Hendrick Motorsports sweep of the front row. On February 11th, after the Budweiser shootout ended under caution at Daytona the previous weekend, NASCAR announces that they will make up to 3 attempts at the green-white checkered finish to try to end the race under green. How many times has it rained at the Daytona 500? Grammy asked. I don't know. So 2020, 2021, 23, 24, 25. 5 times. 5 times it has rained at the 500. Yes, it has rained. And also, on April 10th, 2010, Ryan Newman breaks a 77 race winless streak with a victory at Phoenix. It's his first win for Stewart-Haas Racing and the first win for a car carrying the number 9 in Sprint Cup Series history. My dad said, dirty mac and cheese. The Airborne Park, the mud and cheese. Yeah, I remember that. That was fun. Yeah. So May 2010 was also the first year of the NASCAR Hall of Fame, where the first inductees were Richard Petty, Dale Earnhardt, Junior Johnson, Bill Francina, and Jr. And the Hall of Fame is in Charlotte, North Carolina, which I've had the pleasure to go to 2 times. Seeing different things. So October 13th, the second class of NASCAR Hall of Famers is announced. Bobby Allison, David Pearson, Ned Jarrett, Bud Moore, and Lee Petty will be the second class of the NASCAR Hall of Fame. November 21st of that same year, the day before the Hall of Fame was announced, Kevin Conway is named Rookie of the Year for the Cup Series, and only running 33 races, and DNFing in 9. And the championship that year was won by Jimmy Johnson, who had 36 starts, 6 wins, 17 top 5s, and 23 top 10s. That's it. Every time except for when Uncle Joe and CJ came. That is true. It has rained every time besides when Uncle Joe and CJ came. Denny Hamlin, who finished second place in the 2010 points, had eight wins, 14 top 5s and 18 top 10s. My mom said, "Who is gonna win this year? The championship? I don't know. I'm rooting for Briscoe just because it's his first time in the championship four and the first time in the competitive car, but I really think William Byron is going to win the championship this year." So last place in the point, or 50th in the points, who finished last, was Patrick Carpentier, who only ran 6 races and had 474 points on the season. And AJ Allmendinger flipped at Talladega on Halloween. My dad typed Byron for who's going to win this year. Grammy said, "What? No Logano?" Yep. Logano did not make the Final Four. He did not. I'm upset about that too. But it's an odd year. So, yeah. So wait, let me find. Yeah, if I haven't said it already, Brad Keselowski also flipped, and Carl Edwards got parked, which means he got taken out of the race with 3 laps to go after intentionally wrecking and flipping Brad Keselowski. And you said NASCAR. Woo! Yippee! Yippee! So, yeah. So, I'm going to go to another year now. So, pick. And you said, how long have you been following NASCAR? Since the Daytona 500 of 2019. I've been following NASCAR, which my driver came in 4th place, and Denny Hamlin was the one who ended up winning the race. So the next one, next year I'm gonna flip to is 2013. This one should be interesting. So the Daytona 500 was won by Jimmy Johnson, who was the one who ended up winning the 2013 Daytona 500. This was also Carl Edwards' second to last year in the Roush Fenway 99, because he would leave after the 2014 season for Joe Gibbs. Why do you like NASCAR so much? You know so much. Because, Angie, I just like the overall racing and the cars are going around in 50 circles. And, yeah, I like the crashes and the wrecking and the flips. So, yeah. David Reagan got Front Row's first win at Talladega in 2013. Front Row's first win when they were still a back marker team, but where they were kind of like they're kind of like Rick Ware now back then, but they were able to keep up with the pack during super speedways races. Let me try to find it out. Who is your favorite person that you've met? Good question. It's a good question. NASCAR driver that I've met? Zane Smith. Hello, TC. Guessing that's Trista. I don't know. How many small NASCARs do you have? Probably over 300. I have no idea the exact number, but I just know it's over 300 probably. That's my best guess. Your buddy, Zane Smith. Yeah, I have a restraining order against him because, we like to make the joke that he has a restraining order against me because at the Daytona 500 this past year, it was the Friday before, and I was near the haulers while the truck race was going on. I didn't see the truck race, and he was doing this autograph thing and meet and greet at the kids center, and I just kept asking question, 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 and yeah, and we like to make the joke that has a restraining order against me. Dad said, "What's the biggest heartbreaking Logano loss you've ever saw live?" 2021 Daytona 500. That was. No. TC said, "What was your favorite race you went to?" The 2025 Daytona 500. And speaking of NASCAR, I have a photo right here of me at the NASCAR Hall of Fame with a Bill France statue. Sitting right here. Alright, I look back out. So in 2013, another fact was this was the final year of the chase before they moved to the format they have now, which is the 10 race elimination playoff. And the Spingate scandal was the thing when Clint Bowyer intentionally spun to get a caution so Martin Truex Jr., his teammate, could make the playoffs because he needed a caution so he can point his way into the playoffs. And that ended up being 13 drivers instead of 12 in the playoffs because that put driver Jeff Gordon in an unfair situation. Rumor has it that you have a restraining order against Smith. Well, we don't, but we like to make that joke. So, yeah. 2013. 2013, the champion was again Jimmy Johnson, second place Matt Kenseth. Jimmy Johnson had 6 wins, 16 top 5s, and 24 top 10s. And Matt Kenseth, who came in second place, had 7 wins, 12 top 5s, and 20 top 10s. Last place was, I'm not going to say second to last place. I don't know. I'm going to say second to last place. Was Brian Keselowski, who had 2 starts. Mom said, his buddy has one against Jesse Lowell. And then David DeTusa said, what's your favorite NASCAR interview experience? I haven't really interviewed any NASCAR drivers, but I would have to say Zane Smith because I kept asking him like 50 questions that one time. So, yeah. If I had a NASCAR autograph in here, I'd show you. I think I actually do. Let me go in my tin of cards here. I probably have a NASCAR autograph somewhere in this tin I can show you. Just walk on this. I probably have one in here somewhere. Rami said, Yahoo Jimmy. Yeah, 2 championships that I've read about so far. Trying to find one of my NASCAR autographs to show you. Show you guys, but oh jeez, wait. Oh jeez, cards are falling out. I found 2, I think. 2. Yep, I found 2. This one's a Justin Allgaier rookie card. Right there, that's autographed. And this one, Grammy's gonna like this one. Jimmy Johnson, autographed patch card. Papa said, "How many times have you been live with Larry?" You know what? I don't know. I think only once. I don't even think I've been live with Larry. I honestly don't know. Oh, I found another one. Tyler Reddick, patch autograph from 2022. This isn't an autograph, but this is a Jimmy Johnson patch card. Wait. Yeah, so, yeah. Something, but okay. Grammy said, nice. So, I'm gonna go to 2011. The year I was born, I'm gonna go there. So, 2011. I want to see your NASCAR collection. I would show, but I have to go all the way downstairs, and I don't want to bring my laptop all the way down. But maybe the next live stream I can show that. I might. The next live stream I'll show that. I'll for sure do it. I'll go live down there. Where's your picture with Noah? That's down in the basement. Have you ever been interviewed at the Daytona 500? Yes, I have. In the infield this past year, I got interviewed by one of the Fox reporters, and I was terrible. So, yeah. So yeah, 2011. 2011 had probably one of the craziest championship battles. And Trevor Bayne was the Daytona 500 winner. Cinderella story, they call it. He never made out to anything. I'm serious. He got fired mid-season in 2018. Yeah, so the championship battle was Carl Edwards and Tony Stewart. Tony Stewart made it as the 10th seed, barely squeaked his way into the chase, and won 5 out of the last, and won 4 out of 9 races going into Homestead. Had a 3-point deficit to Carl Edwards, so it basically you had to win, and they actually tied in points. So it just went to Tony Stewart, who won. So, yeah, it's basically what happened. It's really, and then the chase for the Sprint Cup. I already talked about that. Is that Brian Vickers? No, Casey Kane won for Red Bull Racing that year. And last place was Brian Keselowski with 3 points and 1 start. We go to 2012 now. Talk about that. 2012 Daytona 500 was won by Matt Kenseth. David said, "What's the worst crash you've ever seen at a race in person?" Probably the Fireball in 2021. The Daytona 500, the Fireball. That was bad. So yeah, 2012, Matt Kenseth won the Daytona 500 that year. And Allmendinger was in a Penske 22 car. And also, my driver, Logano, got his second ever win this year when he drove for Joe Gibbs. And his beginning of his time in the Cup Series, he drove for Joe Gibbs. And of course, in this book, I see you can't have a year in the 2010s without a Danica Patrick crash. Wait, that's going on. So, yeah. So, the 2012 champion, Brad Keselowski, and second was Clint Bowyer. Last place was Hermie Sadler, who had 13 points and 1 start. Oh, yeah. Keselowski had 5 wins. Mom said, "What about Ryan Newman's?" That was the second worst. I think the Fireball was worse because it was an actual, fire. And it was bad. There was more cars involved. Even though that sent Ryan Newman to the hospital and he was out for 4 weeks, I still think the Fireball was worse because that was insane. There was there wasn't much fire in Ryan Newman's. There was a lot of fire in that other one. So yeah. So I'm gonna talk. Oh yeah, this book doesn't go all the way to 2018. Yeah. I'm gonna talk about the first season in 1949. I'm talk about. I just got my oh jeez, the book's falling apart. The book is flying away. Where's it? 20, 49, that's 48, 40, 49, got it. So 49 was, I can give you the schedule for 49 because it was only 8 races long a season, which one of them was NASCAR's first ghost track. So Jeremy George says, "What's your favorite NASCAR track you have been to?" Daytona, by far. And then it was so we have the schedule was Charlotte, North Carolina at the Charlotte Speedway. Then they went to the Daytona Beach Circuit. Then they went to the, what was it called? It was some track in North Carolina that's now abandoned. It's a walking trail. Like there's still pieces of the bleachers up. There's some cars there on display. And then we have Langhorne Speedway in Langhorne, Pennsylvania, which is now sitting, and now a Sam's Club is sitting on top of the Langhorne track. Then we have Hamburg, New York, which is NASCAR's first ghost track. But I actually found the location of Hamburg, New York. If you want to see that, I'll show you. But it's NASCAR's first ghost track. Then they went to Martinsville, Virginia. Then they went to the Martinsville Speedway. Then they went to Pittsburgh. I forget the track that was there, Pittsburgh. And then we have the North Wilkesboro Speedway, which came back this in 2024 for the All-Star race. Jeremy said he was talking about Danica. So Danica is a NASCAR woman driver who won an IndyCar race, the first woman to win an IndyCar race, who transferred to NASCAR in the early 2010s and sucked, basically. So, yeah. Yeah. So, the book's falling away. The book's flying away again. So, find the 1949 season. So, the 1949 season. So, Langhorne. The champion, who was NASCAR's first ever champion, was Red Byron, who only won 2 races in his NASCAR career. So, yeah, he only won 2 races. He's buried in Florida at a veterans cemetery. Mom said, didn't she win the pole once? Yes, she did. She won the pole at the 2013 Daytona 500, and she got a top 10. She only got I think less than 5 top 10s in Stewart-Haas equipment her whole career. The only ones was her first 2 starts and her last start were not in Stewart-Haas equipment. That's it. I like hamburgers. Oh, okay. Okay. So the points were Red Byron, 6 starts, 2 wins, 4 top 5s, 4 top 10s. And last place was Ken Wagner with 3 starts, 19 points, and nothing else. And there was a few drivers who had 0.5 points, like Red Byron. He has 842.5 points. I don't know where that comes from, but yeah. And I see at the Hamburg, which I see a photo of the Hamburg Speedway in here. I'll show you. But it's the one in the middle. It's the one in the middle right here. It's the one in the middle. Oh wait, wrong side. It's the one in the middle. Only photo of Hamburg Speedway 2 exists. So, yeah. So, the 1950 season. How many drivers' graves have you visited? That's a good question. So I've been to David Pearson, Joe Eubanks, Butch Lindley, Louise Smith, who was the first woman to race in NASCAR. That's 4. I've been to Marshall Teague, Johnny Patterson, Fireball Roberts, Bill France, Jr. and Sr. Wait, that's a wrong spot. So I'm at 9. Who else? I'm forgetting somebody. I'm forgetting somebody. How am I forgetting in Florida? Somebody. I've probably been to at least 11 or 10 NASCAR drivers' graves. So Grammy said, "Where did NASCAR start?" NASCAR started in Daytona Beach, Florida. David said, "What's your most treasured NASCAR memorabilia you have?" Now that's a really good question. Probably my uh, autographed Daytona program that has Helio Castroneves and Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Joey Logano. Jamie said he's got to get used to sorting out the something chatting. And David said, "Oh, hamburger track. I was craving a bacon cheeseburger." Okay. How many NASCAR drivers' autographs do you have? I have probably about maybe 40, 45 drivers because I have some Xfinity drivers, I have a couple truck drivers. Someone's Fireball Roberts. I've been to Fireball Roberts' grave, and I did say that one because I've been there. He passed away, and he's at the Daytona Memorial Park, and he passed away in an accident. I think it was in Charlotte, North Carolina, is where he passed away. So yeah. So a fact about David Pearson, his nickname was the Silver Fox, passed away in 2018. Yeah, that wasn't a comment. I just felt like giving some facts about David Pearson. And he only ran 4 full-time seasons, had 105 wins and 3 championships. The only season he didn't win the championship was Richard Petty's dominant 1967 season where he won 27 races. How many NASCAR cars do you have in total? I don't know, probably over 500 with the big cars, the little ones, the normal ones, the 1/43rd scale or 87 or whatever, and some other and haulers. I probably have over 500. Probably. My mom said you probably have more than 40 driver autographs. I do. That's what I said. I have like 40, 45 probably. Because I'm only missing 3 full-time Cup drivers this year. I'm missing Bubba, Ty Gibbs, and Brad Keselowski. Which I got some Brad Keselowski big cars at the Stafford swap meet a couple weeks ago. Yeah. Yeah. My mom says I think more. What do you mean? Which more? The autographs or the cars? I have to specify which one so I can agree with you. You got Ty. I did not get. I do not have Ty Gibbs. I don't. I don't have Ty Gibbs. That's one of the 3 I'm missing. I got Ty Dillon, not Ty Gibbs. If that's what you were referring to. I have autographs. You think I have more than 40? If I have more than 40, it's gotta be like 45. I honestly think that. If we're talking about total autographs, because I have some multiple driver autographs, I probably have more than like 80 of those. Because I have like 7 Joe Logano's. I did not get Ty Gibbs at Pocono. I got Ty Dillon at Pocono. Because Ty Gibbs didn't walk down the alley thing with the other drivers. He went around for some other stupid thing, I think. Yeah, same with Brad Keselowski. He didn't walk down. But Bubba Wallace didn't walk down. He just stopped for like 2 autographs at the very beginning and just walked down. Yeah. So let me open to another random year. Next year. Yeah, I was including truck and Xfinity drivers. I was. So 1990 is the next year I opened to. And the champion that year was Dale Earnhardt, who had 9 wins, 18 top 5s, and 23 top 10s, which half of his top 5s that year were wins. Because he had 9 of those. I lost the page. Crap. there. And the Daytona 500 winner was Derek Cope. Derek Cope won the Daytona 500 in 1990. Dad said both autographs and cars. I probably have over maybe 500, maybe over 550 cars and autographs. And Rami said, I did answer that. It was Daytona. I did answer that a little while ago. If you're wondering, I did answer that. So I'm gonna try to find an interesting crash in the year real quick. So yeah. When did Dale flip? I don't know. Dale flipped at some point. He said he mentioned Dayton. It's Daytona, David, not Dayton. Dayton is in Ohio. Dayton, Ohio, which is I think where Annie Oakley is. It's either Annie Oakley or Wilbur Wright. It's one or the Wright brothers. It's one of the two. Forget which one. So finding a crash is hard. 2009. There's a fun fact about a crash in. There's a few crashes at Dega in 2009. 3 flips happened at the 2 Talladega races. So the first one was in 2009 when Carl Edwards came down the block, Keselowski, and Edwards, he got spun and he went upside down, slammed into the catch fence and ran. And he got out there, did the Ricky Bobby thing, and raced on foot to the finish line. Now it was funny, and then the other ones were Ryan Newman and Kevin Harvick. Ryan Newman got some air and went behind Kevin Harvick, and he flipped over onto Kevin Harvick's hood, and literally went in the spot in between the hood and the windshield. He went right in there. And the second flip was Mark Martin went upside down on a crash in the tri-oval of Talladega. He went up and over. He got pushed over, and he went over. Yeah. Since when did you need a book for NASCAR facts? Since now. That's what I've needed a book for some NASCAR facts. There's some facts I'm saying off the top of my head, but I'm just using the book to get more information. So I'm using it for. I'm mainly using my head for those flips. I was using my brain for those flips. So yeah. I'm trying to find another one. I'm gonna talk about 2017, the most recent thing in here. So I'm gonna talk about the championship for 2016 before I talk about 2017. 2016 was the year Carl Edwards retired suddenly. Like no one had seen it coming because Carl Edwards blocked Logano in the championship race and hit the wall. And yeah, and he crashed out of this 2016 championship. Mom said, "Can you tell us about Austin Dillon's crash?" Yes, so it was the Coke 600. Austin Dillon was like in about 10th place when he crossed the line. Literally at the line, Hamlin got spun, and I think he came back, hit somebody, and they did just a huge wreck. Austin Dillon went flying over, climbed over a bunch of cars, went into the catch fence, rolled under, and then hit like half the car was gone. Like, and then Keselowski straight up plowed right into Austin Dillon. He plowed into him after Austin Dillon was already upside down. He plowed into him, ripping off the front of his car. Let me try to see if I can get a picture in here of the wreck. It was bad. I've seen clips of it. It's bad. $2015. Find Austin Dillon's flip real quick. Is there a photo in here of his flip? No, there's not a photo of Austin Dillon's flip. But yeah, it was bad. What year? 2015 is when Austin Dillon flipped. The 2015 Coke Zero Sugar 400 at Daytona, right as the finish line. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. was the one who ended up winning the race. And a very famous call by Rick Allen. Yeah. So yeah, now I'm going to start talking about some 2017 NASCAR stuff. The newest year in this book. So 2017 Daytona 500 champion was Kurt Busch. The only reason he won was because the whole field ran out of gas in like the final 5 laps. And he just happened to save enough fuel, like Logano did last year in Nashville and Vegas. He happened to save a bunch of fuel. And Joey Logano had his win, and also in 2017, Logano missed the playoffs. And he won at Richmond in the regular season. But the win got encumbered for a rear suspension thing, suffering an L1 penalty. So the win didn't count towards playoffs, but he was still credited with the win. It's kind of like Austin Dillon's win in last year in 2024, but it wasn't like encumbered. He was still credited with the win, but it was like it didn't count towards playoffs. That's what I'm saying. And David said, if you had the opportunity to ride in a next gen car, would you go or no? Yes, I would go just to go inside and ride in one. But I'd probably get spooked out and probably get out after the second corner. And also in 2017, this is Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Matt Kenseth's final NASCAR seasons in the Cup Series. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. in his final race, he ran a throwback to his rookie paint scheme in 2000. In 2000, yeah. And this year is when also Ryan Blaney got his first NASCAR Cup win. Ricky Stenhouse, Austin Dillon. All three of them got their first wins in the NASCAR Cup Series. Who's that? Let's see. Who's that? Alex Bowman had substituted for Earnhardt at one point during the season. I did not know that. I actually found that from the book that Bowman and substituted a little bit. And Casey Kane also got his last win at the Brickyard in 2017 after Jimmy Johnson blew his engine and was still racing him. He was still racing. Even after he blew his engine, he was still pushing his car past his limit. Then he went, whee, and spun out and hit the wall. So yeah. And in 2017, Martin Truex Jr. won the championship. Dad said, what's the best track? What track has the best infield experience that you've been to and why? So I've only been to 2 infields, Pocono and Daytona. I liked the Daytona infield because they had the Fox Sports broadcast and the mini golf there, the easily sneakable into garage access, the piece of autograph alley. You can go out onto the track before driver introductions. It's just an overall great time. The one bad part about it is it rains. I mean, Pocono, it rained this past year and the year before too, but Daytona, it rains every year. So, yeah. Yeah, and speaking about the Daytona easily sneakable into garage access, is this past year Daytona 500. Me and my dad, with a security guard had to be going to the bathroom or get something to eat or something. So and he wasn't there. Me and my dad, without a pass, just walked right into the infield of the track, and we got a few autographs. That's where I got Jimmy's autograph, I got Chastain's autograph, I got Suarez's autograph, Bowman, Riley Herbst. I got a few others. So yeah, that's my favorite infield experience that I've been to, and why was the Daytona 2025 experience. I really liked the mini golf. I really liked that one. That was cool. So the winner of the 2000 Daytona 500 was what was it again? I think it was Jeff Gordon. Is Jeff Gordon or Dale Jarrett? Let me look this up real quick. It was Dale Jarrett. He won in 2000, the first NASCAR race of the new millennia. And the first Daytona 500 I went to was won by Denny Hamlin after he and Ryan Blaney had a nice photo finish at the line because Ryan Newman got spun, went around, and Blaney and Hamlin photo finished at the line. So yeah, 2021 I saw Michael McDowell win his first Cup race after the Fireball thing. In 2022, I saw Austin Cindric win his first Cup race. 2023, I saw Ricky Stenhouse win his first 500 in heartbreaking fashion for me because it photo finished between Stenhouse and Logano lost. So, 2024, that was William Byron. I've seen him win 2 years in a row. So, yeah. So, and was there a race on the day I was born? No, but the closest race to the day I was born was so it was September 25th, 2011, when was Loudon, New Hampshire. It was at New Hampshire, actually, and Tony Stewart ended up winning that race. So, yeah. And my driver has won one Daytona 500, and it was 2015, February 12th of 2015. And the fact is, in 2027, they're pushing the 500 back a week because they're moving the Super Bowl up a week. So they're pushing the 500 back. Which is stupid, but yeah, they're pushing the 500 back. I think they're moving the Super Bowl forward so people have the day off after they spend all night partying and have to go into work or school the next day. So it makes sense to have the Super Bowl on that day. So, yeah. Is there a specific year that any of you want me to talk about? Is there a specific year, date, driver, anything? Is there any year, driver, date, anything that you want me to talk about? When is the New Hampshire race this year? Good question. I actually don't know the date, but I know it's the second race before the playoffs. The most crazy NASCAR race ever, the 2019 Daytona 500. I think there was an average lap green flag run of like 19 laps. And it was the first race I've ever watched. It was crazy. It was either that or the 2020 Clash, where there was only 6 cars competing at the end of the race. So, August 23rd, Mom said. So, yeah, there. That's your answer, David. August 23rd. Is there any year date? Is there any year or driver that you guys want me to talk about? Or maybe the year, how the driver did that year? Or anything NASCAR that you want me to talk about? Is there anything you want me to talk about? Okay, so while we're waiting on that, I'm going to talk about 2001 Daytona 500. So, Dad said the Daytona move was crap. Agreed. Daytona, that's just no. Mom said Chase Elliott, so I'll talk about him. David said, "Thank you, NASCAR nerds." Okay, so Chase Elliott and his first year in Cup. So in 2016, his first year in Cup, he actually made the round of 12 and got out, but he was not running the 9. He was running the 24 after he replaced Jeff Gordon after he retired the previous year, and Jeff Gordon actually won because Kenseth junked Logano with like 30 laps to go at Martinsville, and he won, made the championship 4, and finished 3rd. But Chase Elliott was the one who took over for him after Gordon retired, and then he switched to the nine, and he switched to the 9 to honor his dad. Dad said, my dad conveniently said, 1977, who dominated? Let me look that up. So who dominated in 1977? 1979, 78, 77. Cale Yarborough dominated with 9 wins. Richard Petty came in second with 5. Benny Parsons with 4. Darrell Waltrip with 6. David Pearson even had a win. Neil Bonnet had a couple wins. Donnie Allison had 2 wins. So yeah, I had a bee trying to dominate me today. That's okay. I had a bee trying to dominate me a couple weeks ago because I was wearing a green shirt outside at a soccer game, and they were trying to um they were thinking I was a flower basically. I said, who took over the 24 after Elliott? William Byron took over the 24 in 2018. I've seen him win twice at 2 Daytona 500s. I've seen him win. One of the only drivers I've seen win twice. There's not many drivers I've seen win twice. I've seen Hamlin win twice. I've seen Byron and Blaney win twice. I've seen 3 drivers win twice. So I've seen 3 repeat races with repeat winner. Still waiting for that Logano win. Haven't seen him win in person. So yeah. So 2016, I can figure out the exact position Elliott finished in points. And that was he finished 10th in points exactly that year with 10 top 5s and 17 top 10s. What drivers have you seen win in person? So I'm gonna do my Cup drivers. So I've seen Harvick win, Hamlin, then I saw Keselowski, then I saw McDowell, Elliott, and then I saw Cindric. Did I say Cindric? Wait, no, restart. So I saw Harvick, then Hamlin, and then I saw Keselowski, McDowell, Amiroli, Cindric, Elliott, Stenhouse. Who won New Hampshire in 23? Truex. And then I saw at Pocono. I saw Hamlin, which was my first repeat win after 10 races. And then 2024, I saw Byron. And then Pocono was Blaney. And then that was it for that year because I didn't see the end of the New Hampshire race. And this past year, I saw Byron, and then I saw Briscoe, and then Blaney again. So I've seen 15 different races. And what was the most exciting finish I've seen in person? Most exciting finish. This past year's Daytona 500. Like I've said many times, because of that crash on the final lap, Jimmy finishing in Trace place, and the Byron, and then the first time ever they've let him race back to the checkered flag, which is that's stupid. Why? They haven't. They don't let them race to the checkered flag. What about Blaney? I said Blaney twice. The 24 Pocono and the 25 New Hampshire. I said that. I said Blaney. And I've seen Xfinity drivers. I've seen a few Xfinity races. So I saw the Xfinity race. I forget who I saw win Xfinity race. Oh crap! Oh yeah, I forgot Suarez. Suarez in 2024. Forgot Suarez in 2024. Forgot about him because that was the only Atlanta race I've been to. So I was counting Pocono, Daytona, New Hampshire. So I forgot about Atlanta for a second. Thank you for reminding me. Did someone already ask you what your most prized memorabilia item is? Yes, and it's my 2024 Daytona 500. 2025 Daytona 500 program. For your information. So it's a fact that me and my dad were gonna sneak into Dale Earnhardt's grave, and my mom was like, "No, no, 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 no," and we couldn't. So yeah, I wanted to, but we're gonna figure out a way back there, and we're gonna sneak in, like we did with a bunch of other people. So yeah, stories that I'll tell in other live streams. Who was who was the Xfinity winners crew chief this year? So I saw Connor Zilisch win the Truck Series, and his crew chief was Dale Earnhardt Jr. It's really the only crew chief in the Xfinity Series I know. What was the most valuable item in my NASCAR collection? The Daytona 500 program, 2025 the program, the one that has a bunch of autographs on it. It's worth $600. So yeah, worth $600. No, I can't. They can't look. Okay, so yeah. I might have something else to ask on my shelves. I might. I'm not sure. I don't, but my next live stream I'll show you a few things. A little talk a little about Daytona NASCAR track tour. Um so the Daytona track tour, so it starts at the Motorsports Hall of Fame right there on the outside where like the Dale Earnhardt Jr. statue is and stuff, and where they put the car from the 500 in there. And so then we take a tram down to the infield, and then we go to the road course loop. We go around that a little bit. Then we go into the victory lane. If you can, you're able to pick up some confetti, and then you come back, and then you get to walk out onto the front stretch up the thing. Then you go back, and then you can tour the museum and go to the gift shop and stuff. Yeah. Mom said, "How do you know that? How do I know what? I know a lot of things." Papa said, "Say hi to Liz." Hi, Liz. Hello. Didn't know you were in the live chat. Yeah. So, and Carl Edwards, for fun fact, his signature move was a backflip. He did one after every race he won. He did a backflip after most races. There's a few I don't think he did one, but like a couple his rain victories, he didn't want to do it. The cost of the program, because I've looked it up. I looked it up once. That's how I know the cost of the program, because I looked it up. So yeah. So in 1971, for a fact, that the champion in 1971, which is, I'm just going to give a random fact, was Richard Petty with a staggering 21 wins on the season. 21 wins, which is another record of he has another record set, which is 27 wins in the season. Henry said, "What's the special thing you got from the tour?" A lug nut. I got a lug nut. So yeah, the guy there, he gave me a lug nut from the race. Didn't know what driver, didn't know what car. Who was the champion in '73? That was Benny Parsons with 1 win, 15 top fives, and 21 top tens. Who did not have the most wins that season, because David Pearson had 11 wins that year. So yeah. Hmm. Yeah. So we have another. So the 1965 champion, just a random one. It was who was the who was the very first NASCAR driver and what year? So the is very first year was 1949, and the first champion was Red Byron, and the first winner was Jim Roper. Papa said, "How many times you been inside the Daytona 500 winner's circle?" I think maybe 3 times. Yeah, I think 3 times because I was in there for the 2 tours I took, and this past year I got confetti from inside the winner's circle as we watched the race from the infield. That was really cool. I really liked watching the race from the infield. So yeah, so another random one. 1966, the 1966 champion. That's gonna pull out a random year. David Pearson with 15 wins. And James Hilton came in second place, who actually raced. He was like, I think he was like 63 or 70 something years old, and he raced in 2009 against Chase Elliott and Ryan Blaney in a race, and he passed away in 2018 from a car crash or a plane crash, something like that, some sort of crash. Wasn't during a race though. Who initially started NASCAR and why? It was a bunch of moonshiners who started to. They're just doing the thing because they were trying to outrun cops in moonshine. So Bill France Sr. founded NASCAR with a bunch of other people. That's so they could race. So they could race. So that's why. So I think this is where I'm gonna end the live stream. So I hope everyone has a good, safe week, and I'll see you in the next live stream.